Lord.
Okay.
So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector. And today I'm joined by Jon Howell. He's the guitar player for a new band called X Everything. And they're a band from California, Oakland, California. And it's a post-hardcore type of like music. And they're about to release their debut record on November the 10th. So first of all, Jon, how are you today?
I'm doing great, and great to talk to you.
No, great to talk to you too. And I got the record. I listened to it, and I like post-hardcore. And I enjoyed the album. It has some great tracks on it. And, for a debut album, you always want to make it strong. And let's talk a little bit about the history of the band, X Everything.
Yeah.
First of all, how did you came up with the name?
So the name was an easy one for us. There is a different band that exists that used to exist called Fight Amp, and Fight Amp had a song on one of their last albums called X Everything, and it's a great song. So that name was sort of readily available. We think it's catchy. We think it's interesting. But then there are also other factors. The people in X Everything have been in bands for 2 decades, different bands. And so we thought it was sort of an appropriate name in that regard as well, since we've all been in so many bands leading up to this point. We thought it was kind of cute. And ultimately we just like it. It's a name that it can be interpreted a number of different ways, and we're kind of okay with however anybody else would want to interpret it.
Yeah, were you scared that people would think that you're a pop punk band?
You always run that risk, and I think we'll take the loss of a couple people who don't want to listen to pop punk.
Yeah, and I like how it's spelled on the like you have X Everything together, but it's apart. Do you do it together or apart, like X and then everything, or?
The band name is a part. The aesthetics of like trying to actually view of the band name itself looks really cool together. So that's why you'll see it kind of both. You'll see it together in a lot of our designs, and then apart because the actual band name is going to be 2 separate words.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about how you guys were playing in other bands, and when did you decide to get together to form X Everything?
So the date that we kind of pinned down is August of 2019, so pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
COVID. We'll get to COVID. But I and the drummer of X Everything, we are both in another band called Kowloon Walled City. And Kowloon Walled City, if your listeners are unaware of that band, the music that Kowloon Walled City creates is very slow and austere, and has a lot of space, right? And it's great, and Dan and I, the drummer, we love being in that band. We love creating that music, but we're punk kids from way back. We do love aggressive, fast music, and it's that type of music. Aggressive and fast is like the other half of our brains that wasn't necessarily getting satisfied by the music we create in Kowloon Walled City. So again, in August of 2019, we decided, myself and Dan, that we wanted to do something fast and pissed off, and like something that allows us to engage with that type of music. So that being the case, a good friend of mine, a friend of ours named Ben Thorne, who had also been in a bunch of other bands, we pulled him into the mix, and then we started writing the record. We wrote the entire record and actually cycled through a couple different folks for in the vocalist position until until past COVID, essentially in September of 2021, which is 2 years later, right? We finally were able to get our friend Andre Sanabria, who had been at a bunch of other bands and we'd played shows with. He signed up to do the vocals, and ultimately then we recorded the record, and it took a long time to come out, and we're really excited to be at this point because Friday is for us the culmination of something that we started in fall of 2019 pre-COVID. So This has been a long time coming. We put a lot of time and effort and love into this record, and it means so much that it's coming out.
No, yeah, and listening to the record, I thought of bands like Every Time I Die, Meets Fries, like that type of vibe. Old Fries, not new Fries.
Sure.
They're older stuff.
Sure, sure, sure.
They're mellower now. I love them, but they're mellower.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like Thrice. I'm actually in a band with two members of Thrice. I'm in a band called Less Art that is less active these days, but we put out a record. If you hadn't heard it, you should check it out. It's
Well, it's
really
good
good
that you say that you like it, because you're like, I think they suck.
record.
You're with two of them on a which one's Fries are you in a band with?
The members of Thrice in Less Art are Riley and Ed Breckenridge, the brothers, who are lovely people and lovely humans and all that great stuff. And yeah, you know, I will say that in particular the earlier Thrice stuff, where there was like, it was definitely much more, it was a bit more pissed off, it was a bit more aggressive. I mean, that is the direction, the pissed off, the aggression. Yeah. That's what X Everything wanted to do with our record. You know, that's what we wanted to pursue. And I do think Every Time I Die is another good reference point for just like, you know, Every Time I Die, they just hit the stage, they just go for it, you know. And
I gotta mention it because every time there's a new band, people, I like listening to new bands and new music. I consider myself an explorer of music. That's why I like to interview newer bands. And I'm not that guy that says like there's no good music after high school. But to people that are not adventurous, like when there's a new band, they always like to they always ask me. I'm like, oh, check out this new band, and the first thing they ask me is like, who do they sound like, or like. So you have to do like, okay, if you like this band and this band, this might be for you.
For sure, yeah, understood.
Yeah, because it's like that type of mentality. But I don't care. But yeah, the album is pretty cool. I'm gonna show the artwork here. Here it's X Everything, and it's really cool. Tell me, what am I seeing in the artwork? Because it's not that easy to look at.
Right. So the artwork was created by Damian Johnson. He is, if you're unfamiliar, he's been in a bunch of bands over the years. In particular, his band Great Falls just put out an album this year on Neurot Recordings, which X Everything is also releasing on Neurot. And the Great Falls album is incredible. Damian is just a fantastic illustrator, designer, like artist in general. So he worked with Andre in particular to kind of come up with an image that was reflecting some of the angst and anger that was intrinsic in the lyrics to the X Everything album. So in this instance, the design itself is like what we see as a sort of a person who is holding a home that is on fire and is sort of engulfed and impacted by the flames of that house and the smoke that's coming off of the fire.
Well, you live in California. California, the fires, the wildfires that you had in California have been horrible.
Yes, I actually live in Santa Rosa, California, and a couple of years ago, before we moved here, only about a mile from my house, the fires wiped out everything, all the homes, all the businesses, just gone. And if I drive a mile in essentially north of where I'm sitting right now, I can still see the burned out redwoods and the kind of just completely barren landscape, because some of this stuff, it eventually comes back. But, you know, it's still been pretty recent. And the living in California, I'm not sure if you've experienced these kind of fires in Puerto Rico or anywhere else in your life, but these fires
we've experienced very bad hurricanes. So
yes,
I know the feeling. I was here in Puerto Rico when we had that hurricane in 2017. Maria. And I can tell you, I lived here for 3 months without water and electricity. So yeah, and then I moved to Miami for a few years. So, but yeah, I can tell you, like we know what it's like a struggle. I don't like fires like here, like Puerto Rico's like a Caribbean island, so we get a lot of rain. Sometimes we've had droughts, but the droughts are more like the water where they take the water, they're not equipped well, and sometimes it's the government's fault. It's not that because it rains here a lot. It's a it's a Caribbean. In the Caribbean, it rains. It's we have beautiful weather too, but it rains. So but no wildfires like that. But yeah, no, I've been to California, and and the redwood, something very interesting when I went to and I saw those redwoods, which are incredible, beautiful trees.
Right.
Some of them they need to burn. Some of them need to burn a little, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, they're definitely very resistant to it, so they can be
Oh,
burned up.
they're huge.
And they're huge, right? I mean, so you'll go and you'll see redwoods that still have their kind of plumes up top. They'll have leaves, they'll have whatever, or pine needles really. But then the actual bases around them are charred and blackened. They're living, because they can actually withstand the fire. That's what they have adapted to be able to do. But the fires themselves, when I moved to California 20 years ago, the fires were not as extensive and as terrifying as they are. And now I would say everyone in California feels a bit traumatized just by these fires existing. A good example.
It's not because you don't reek.
No. Yeah, not because we don't rake. Other people might have that opinion. Those people are pieces of shit. So yeah. But it is, I think, just for your listeners, just a good kind of frame of reference is one of the fires that occurred a couple of years ago. I was living in the East Bay and looking north towards the fire, and it was a perfectly clear day, beautiful, not a cloud in the sky. But in the distance, the fire was so extensive that the plume of smoke looked like a mushroom cloud. It was the size. And the other thing is that as that smoke comes up and that ash goes up into the air, we know, because we've experienced, that it will come down. It will rain ash on everyone, and it's terrifying. And, with the X Everything album, Slow Change Will Pull Us Apart. I mean, part of the kind of
I love that title, by the way.
Slow I'm glad you like that.
Tear Us Apart. I think it's you hear it, I'm like, yeah, it's a great name for an album.
Yes, I'm happy you think that. Yeah, the kind of anxiety that's written into the music and written into the lyrics is very much impacted by those fires, because we just live under this condition of this terrible thing. I mean, you living in Puerto Rico and seeing hurricanes coming towards you, we have the fire equivalent that just kind of comes at us and happens, and we can't do anything about it. It seems like, and earthquakes. That's fun too. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's been interesting. We've had hurricanes, we had earthquakes.
Really? Wow.
We had a governor that was ousted out of office. So they had a slogan. I think it was called Puerto Rico se levanta, which means, that's in Spanish, which means in English, Puerto Rico gets up. And I remember like a year ago, I was doing an interview with a friend of mine for this artist from Puerto Rico. And he's talking about all the things that are happening. And I was leaving, and I said, like, I missed the part of like what season of Puerto Rico gets up we're in now, because it's like there's always something.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're very happy. Like if you come here, like people say, like, we're happy people. Like it's a positive culture, happy people, even though with stuff that's happened.
Yes.
But yeah, California, I know California has gone through a lot of stuff with the fires, and that thing is really scary as well, because hurricanes, you can, even though they're terrible, but if you got a sturdy home, you can get there. But with a fire, like it's really you don't know what
gonna get you.
Yeah, I remember like 10 years ago. Back in 2010, I was driving through, going to Temecula, like more the northern side of California, and we were passing through some mountains, and it said something like, "There's a 90% of like something can catch fire." I'm like, "Oh, great!"
Yeah. High fire days are anxiety producing, where there's an actual official sort of rate of like the possibility of a fire occurring is so much higher because of the conditions, the dryness or whatever that is going on in that area. Those are not fun days.
So the album of the Slow Change will pull us apart. How did you guys came up with that title? I know that it's not a title in one of the songs, but I wonder if is it in the lyrics?
It is actually not in the lyrics. I very much cribbed that title from a famous song from the 80s by the band Simple Minds. I'm not sure if you remember.
Wasn't it Love Will Tear Us Apart?
No, it was the Simple Minds song. It was man, it's gonna bum me out because I don't remember the name of the song. It was actually used in the movie The Breakfast Club, and it's every Don't You Forget About Me. That Don't Forget About Me. The Don't You Forget About Me. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that song.
Oh yeah,
there you go. That line is in that song, and that line, since I was a kid and I first heard it, I have just loved that line because they
say that. I gotta pay attention.
They say that.
Slow change.
Yeah. Slow change.
They say it at the beginning, right?
They do. Part. They say something slightly different. They say slow change may pull us apart. And so that was the only thing that we changed about it to slow change will pull us apart.
And cooler the way you put it.
I think that, that worked. So again, it came from that song, but ultimately what the feeling that it describes about sort of the bonds of, bonds breaking, just because that is what will end up happening over time. That's something that that really spoke to the themes that Andre was writing about on the X Everything album. The kind of that the structures that we're dealing with, from political structures, environmental sort of concerns, those type of things, they are going to strain the bonds that hold us all together as communities, and they will pull us apart unless we take action in certain ways. And we think, organizing, making sure that we strengthen our communities in the face of these things trying to tear us apart. So the album really spoke to those themes. The album title really spoke to those themes, and it allowed me to, pull in a line from an 80s song that I liked. It was great.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And so you have 3 singles that you already are out. If people before the album release, you have The Reduction of Human Life to an Economic Unit.
Yes.
Does that have to do with homelessness?
It has to do. I mean, homelessness could be seen to be a part of it, right? I mean, you can also look at it just the way that, particularly under capitalism, all of our lives are really only valued in terms of the sort of the wealth that we can create, right? Yeah. We don't have, to a pure capitalist, your life, my life, it is valueless intrinsically. It doesn't matter if we're good parents. It doesn't matter if we're good brothers or husbands or friends. How much money can you make for a company, And so that's we disagree with that type of way of viewing people, viewing individuals. And so the lyrics, kind of generally speaking, are about that, sort of about how sort of under capitalism we're reduced to just something that generates wealth for a company, and our intrinsic humanity is erased, and that's a bad thing. And so the album just kind of, or the song, is about that topic.
So we're both fans of Fight Club.
Fight Club is calls out some things that should be highlighted.
Yeah, sure. That movie. Yeah, when I think of that movie, the message that it had. But yeah, I know what you mean with that song, because a lot of people, even in the YouTube, you have these pages where you see celebrity homes, and sometimes I like watching them, but then you're comparing why don't I have a house or an apartment this nice? And it's we we compare ourselves to other people and economy. So, but life, people are more than a great house or something. So yes, I can understand. Sure. Then you have the other singles. You have Detonation in the Public Sphere.
Yes.
By the way, all the titles of your songs are fucking awesome.
Oh, that's great. Glad you like it.
Then you have Exiting the Vampire Castle. I don't know why when I think of that, I think of Castlevania.
Yeah, I definitely played all the Castlevanias as a kid, and that is a reference I totally understand. I should note though that Exiting the Vampire Castle is actually, it's the name of an essay that was written by a sort of a political theorist named Mark Fisher. And so the Andre, when he wrote that song, it's actually very much a response to this famous political essay that Mark Fisher wrote. So, if your listeners are interested, I would actually totally recommend them going to read it, read the essay, because I believe it's available for free online. You just have to search Mark Fisher Exiting the Vampire Castle, and someone has it posted.
Yeah, I want to read it. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Plus, you have you have other so those are the singles that you released. Like, why did you pick those 3 singles in particular?
So the first single, which was Reduction of Human Life to an Economic Unit, it was the first single because it was also the first song that we wrote way back in 2019, and it opens the album. And that song in particular, it does a lot of things. It's fast, it's pissed off. It also has sections that have a drone element, you know, a noise element, and it ends with this kind of anthemic headbanging quality. And all of the things that one song does, the rest of the album does that as well. We thought it was a great introduction to the band because you'll get from that one song, you'll get a sense of everything else that you're going to experience on the record. Yeah. And then the other songs, they're actually, all 3 of those songs are the first 3 tracks.
That's what I find interesting. There is the first 3 tracks of the record.
Yeah, and we just thought we thought those were the right introduction to the band. We thought it was because they're the right introduction to the rest of the record. I mean, it's an 8-song album. There will be 5 additional songs that listeners will not have heard. But the idea that you can kind of enter the album and already have experienced the first three songs, and we hope enjoy the first 3 songs. We feel like that sets up the listener for the rest of the album to just kind of like experience the rest of the album for the first time after having familiarity with the first quarter of the record. So that was a conscious decision.
No, but you have like titles like Slow Cancellation of the Future, The Last Global Slaughter, and I like the last one, Plunder, Cultivate, and Fabricate. I don't know why, like that could have been like a thrash metal song. You could have done like a Sepultura, like Plunder, Cultivate, Fabricate.
Yes.
You have a thrash metal Sepultura song right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Big early Sepultura fans in our band as well. Just to be fair, yeah.
Yeah, and people know it's not a thrash metal song, but like the title, you listen to it and like you could have made a thrash metal song with that title because I could just like hear it, like you just screaming those 3 things and adding some stuff to it. Totally. So being a new band, you're gonna put out the record this Friday. Are you gonna have like an album release show?
Yeah, so our record release is actually tomorrow on Thursday. We're really looking forward to it. And then we have a little bit of a short album release tour that's gonna go up to the Pacific Northwest of the United States. So we'll play Portland and Seattle and Tacoma. Andre in particular, Andre Sanabria, the singer of X Everything, is originally from and lived in the Pacific Northwest. So this is a fun little homecoming show for him since he lives in the Bay Area now. And, us being West Coast musicians for the past 20 years, all 4 of us in the band, we've gone to the Northwest. We've played shows in Seattle and Portland and Tacoma for years and years and years, right? And so it's great to be able to take this new music that we've written and take it to our old friends that we've made over the decades. We're really excited for this tour.
No, yeah, sounds great. Obviously, when this interview comes out, you already will have had your first album release show, but I'm guessing everyone knows by now that you had the album release show. How excited are you as a new band to have, there's like you'll have people listening to the songs for the first time. Is it nerve-wracking or is it more exciting?
It's just exciting. We hope people love the record as much as we do, and they can make their own decisions. But just that it's really something to be a musician and to be able to create this stuff, to pull it out of your head and work on it for years and then put it onto a product and let other people listen to it. It is so fulfilling. So all we have at this point is excitement about, the fact that, we are a newer band. We played our first shows as a band this year, earlier in this year, even though we've been working on this music since 2019. So playing live is still something that we all very much enjoy it, and we have not had a lot of opportunities so far to play this music in front of people. So that we get to do that is also just a joy.
No, I guess so. Yeah, it has to be very exciting.
Yeah.
So what's next for the bands? I know you were already worked on this song for a long time. Are you already working on new songs?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We need to play this music in front of people first. We want to get out in the world. We want to make sure that we
build a fan base.
build the fan base, and make we believe that this music translates live in a way that people will be excited about. So we want to do that and have that experience. But that said, as since we've been working on this record, we wrote this record, we finished writing this record like a year and a half, 2 years ago. So we don't have another record in the can. We're not about to come out with something completely new. But aside from next year spending time on the road to tour this music, to get it in front of people, we are going to write the next record. And we already have talked about it a lot and started writing little bits and pieces, nothing to show anybody yet, but we're really excited about that too.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I'm sure, because like people will like, oh, it's brand new, but for you, you'll be like, how we've been listening to these songs for 2 years.
It's been a while. Yes.
But since you're a newer band, obviously you want to get your feet wet and get people get a taste of the band. And since it's a new band, there's no expectations of people like what you have to sound like. Once you're like an established band, people will get mad if you do the same thing, or they'll get mad if you deviate too much.
Sure.
like you'll be like, no, you have to do like deviate a little bit, but keep the core sound.
For sure. And I think that, there is very little likelihood of us putting out a pop punk album. I don't think that's where we're going to go next. That said, there is a particular direction that we've talked about, but we want to, with this band, the one thing that we want to keep fairly consistent is that core of like aggression. We want this to be, fast, aggressive music, but there is a lot of room to maneuver and try different things within that context. And so we're going to try some things, and we'll see what it sounds like. Yeah,
that sounds interesting. So, Jon, I want to thank you, for taking some time with me to talk about the record and other topics, because it's been interesting. So, people, X Everything, the album drops this Friday. I'll post the link so people can order the album. Are you going to put it out on vinyl for now, or is it going to be CDs?
It is on vinyl as well. So CDs, vinyl. You can get the digital at Neurot. Neurot Recordings is releasing the record, and we're real happy to work with them. And I got the vinyl in the mail the other day, and it looks incredible. They're all going to be this sort of jeweled red vinyl, and it's beautiful. So I'm excited for people to see it.
Because it will go with the cover.
Yes, it will. It all goes together. The package works.
Yeah, because that would sound like you have like a red Mezzanine album cover, and then you have like a pink vinyl.
Yeah, that would not have been the direction.
I like some of the variants, but there's some bands that they go like, you get a variant, it has like dots, and I'm like, oh, come on, it looks like a fucking rainbow.
Yes, yeah, and that can be cool, but I do like, and I think to what you're speaking to, having the artwork speak to the vinyl, like have it to all the aesthetic work together. That's cool. That's what we did.
Oh yeah, like when I got into more like collecting vinyl in the pandemic, 2020. And I bought, that's what Deftones, my favorite band of all. For
sure.
They put out that Ohms record, and I got the gold variant for Record Store Day that they had, and it looked awesome.
Yes.
So that's something that is important, because sometimes I think it's cool to have the vinyl with the different variants. They sound the same as if it was like pure black, but sometimes some people get like overboard with all the different colors. It's like pick a color, make it look cohesive. So
absolutely.
So Jon, anything you would like to say to the people who watch this video, who probably will get into X Everything or will listen to the band for the first time?
Just check it out, see what you think. We really appreciate you giving the band a chance. If you like the kind of music that, Hector's sort of referenced as a reference point for the music you'll hear on the record, we think you'll like it, and we hope it speaks to you. And Hector, thank you for having this conversation.
Yeah, no, thank you for taking some time of your day. So people, X Everything, the album out this Friday, and the name is Slow Change Will Pull Us Apart. And now I will have that stuck in my head with that 80s song.
Yep, exactly.
For the rest of the day. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and good night.